Hello guys and welcome to the Sicilian Paramour. Today we're going to discuss about Karel Traxler and his Immortal swag. Now many people may recognize Magnus sporting this hoodie which says swag don't come cheap in the recent Baku Olympiad. But I'm about to prove that olden players from 19th century, they had a lot of swag as well. So today we're going to talk about this guy, Karel Traxler. He was born in January 17, 1866 in a city in Czechoslovakia, also known as the Czech Republic. And please forgive me for butchering the name. The name of the city is Vlachovo Brezi. It looks something like this today. Anyways, getting back to chess. Alright, so Karel Traxler was a Catholic priest, so he did not really play any serious games of chess or any serious tournaments, but he was an enthusiastic chess problem composer, composing well over 900 chess problems, most of them being made in 2, 3, or 4. By the way, all this information is from the wiki, so alright. So the game we're going to talk about today, we're going to see from Black's perspective, and Traxler was playing Black. Now, Traxler is well known amongst chess circles for his hyper-aggressive opening variation in the two knights defense, which is named after him, also which is called the Traxler counterattack, Traxler gambit, whatever you want to call it. Alright, so let's get to it. White starts off with e4, Traxler replies e5, and after knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, we have the Italian game. Knight f6 brings about the two knights defense, and now we enter the ng5 variation. As you can see, the f7 point is the weakest point in the opening, and it is being brutally targeted here by white. Although it's not all over. If such an opening used to work, then everybody would be playing bishop c4 instead of bishop b5. Now the most common reply here is d5. And after e takes d5, we have knight a5. And the variation runs something like bishop b5 check, c6, d takes c6, b takes c6, and now white has a couple of options, either bishop d3 or even queen f3, which is the Bogolubov variation. The idea behind queen f3 is that the pawn is not takeable because your rook hangs. Alright, however, beginners make another mistake. After d5, e takes d5, they sometimes take with the knight. Now this allows white to go into the fried liver attack with knight takes f6, king takes f6, queen f3, and now in order to protect this knight, the king has to come close, king e6, and now knight c3. The black king is in the center, and white is just piling up pressure over here. There's nothing seriously wrong with this if you check on with the engines, but in practical game, the game is nearly over. Shirov has defeated many people convincingly with this as white. Alright, we don't go down that road this time. However, after knight g5, we see bishop c5. Now, this counterattacks f2. This variation is called the Traxler variation of the two knights defense. Modern theory considers it dubious because of the reply bishop takes f7. However, this is not what we see in the game. In the game, very obviously, oh, I forgot to tell you the name of the guy who was playing white in this variation. He was Rainish. Yes, sorry, not Janish, Rainish. Alright, so after he played knight takes f7, which just forks the queen and the rook. So now the forced move basically would seem as queen e7. But then why did you play bishop c5 in the first place? So Traxler goes on forward with bishop takes f2. Now, there are a lot of things that can be, that's possible. You can, of course, go king takes f2, and after knight takes e4, the two most common moves, or the best moves, are either king e3 or the king back to f1. They have theories of their own. So, but no, the Rainish decides to not take the bishop and instead go king e2. However, as Traxler mentions in his own variations, that king f1 was probably a better try. Alright, so after king e2, the obvious check, knight d4, just gaining tempo. And after king d3, This is the actual serious mistake. Checking on with the engines, even here, white could have tried to bail out here with king to f1, but king to d3 just blows apart the position. Now, objectively speaking, the best move here is queen e7 because white king is already in a very shady spot here. But Traxler goes for more. b5. Now this of course hangs the queen, but the next reply was bishop b3. So why didn't white take the queen? Now there's a lot of variations that confirms why white should not take the queen. However, objectively it is best for white to take the queen. Alright, let's see if white did take the queen. Knight takes d8, we would have bishop takes c4. And after king takes c4, we would have bishop a6 check, forcing the king onto the b file. No, not forcing, but practically, yeah. So king b4, we have rook b8, and now there are a few variations like king a5, bishop e2. Now you can see this wins the queen because queen has no place to go, as well as this knight here. It's trapped, just can't go anywhere. So this is a good enough variation itself, but if you still want to go forward, queen takes e2, knight takes e2, d3, and after castle, knight c3, knight takes c1, rook from h takes c1, and rook takes d8. Black is a piece up, but that's not all. The white king is really misplaced, and you know, it just has one file to go to. And let's check the engine evaluation here. The engine already shows this to be 3.81 in black's favor, so, and it's still growing though. Now it's already 4, so no need to check this out. It's pretty hopeless, although this was objectively the best try. So after b5, bishop b3, that's what we see. And now we have knight takes e4. Okay, now knight takes e4 just seems like, you know, there are a lot of things hanging here. The knight on e4 is hanging, the queen on d8 is hanging. Over here, white decides to finally take the queen, although we would like to see what happens if he took the knight. So after king takes e4, we would have d5 check. And believe it or not, it's already mate in 6. You can turn on your engines and check it by yourself, but there are a couple of beautiful variations, so I'll rather show you them all. So after king takes e5, you know, king just keeps gobbling material. We have knight c6 check, the forced move, king f4, and now queen f6, mate. Yeah, look at it again, it's mate. The queen controls all these squares, and the most important thing is the bishop here controls the g4 square, and everything else is also controlled. This is a mate, right in the middle of the board. However, after king takes e4, after d5, there are other variations too. How about king d3? Now we have bishop f5 check, king c3, knight e2 check. This is a pretty good move to make. Queen takes, bishop d4, king b4, a5, king takes b5, and now queen d7 is mate, but hey, bishop d7 just makes it look that much better. And what about you don't take the e5 and you don't go king d3 as well? What about bishop d5? Now this fails to bishop f1. The bishop can't be taken because of the knight, so king takes e5 is forced, and after queen f6, king f4, bishop to d3. I mean, of course, you could have just taken the pawn and threatened the queen, but d3 has a more zen feeling to it. And king g4, and now queen h4 mate. Yeah, it's getting pretty smoky here. Alright, so barring all this, white just decides to take the queen right now. And over here, we have absolute tactical precision here with mate in 9. That's what the engines announced, and Traxler followed that mating pattern down to the wire. So here it starts. It goes with knight c5 check, king c3, knight e2 check. Now the reason behind knight e2 is that we want to vacate the d4 square for the bishop. Now after knight e2, the queen took, but had the king gone to b4 instead of the queen takes, it would have not helped him in either way. So after queen e2, we get bishop d4 check. Now after king b4, a5, The first move is king takes b5. And okay, not first. You want to see what happens after king a3. Well, you just I'm sorry. Okay. After king a3, you just run into, yes, that's a mate. That's b4. That's a mate. So after king takes b5, we have bishop a6 check. Again, now the first mate is king takes a5, and now of course you can take the queen. Yes, why not? But then if you're gonna win the game, you're gonna have you want to win it with as less material as you can capture, because then you can show off to your friends. Like I told you, this is swag of a different level. Bishop d3 check, and you have king b4, only move. Now knight a6. The king has, well, three possible moves here: king a3, king a4, king a5. In the game, king a4 was chosen, and now you have knight b4 check. The only move is king takes b4, and now you mate with c5. That's a pretty picturesque mate. Although, yeah, one more thing. Had the king gone to a3, knight b4 would not be a quick mate here, because after knight b4, we can have bishop a4. So this is not a quick mate. However, the quickest mate here is just bishop c5 check, and now you have to play king a4, and now knight b4, checkmate. And that's all. King a4, that was in the game. Knight b4, king b4, and c5. I mean, yeah, sure, swag don't come cheap. In this game though, swag cost black a whole queen, 2 minor pieces. White is up a bucket here, but the king has just been hounded from the get-go. And this is the kind of tactical brilliance that these 19th century players can bring out. I hope to do a lot of these videos because they just show a very brilliant and dynamic side of chess. And who doesn't want to pull off a mate like c5 at the end? By the way, this is just move 17 of the game. And look at where white's king is. Black king did not even castle. Alright, so this was the game. I hope you enjoyed Karel Traxler and his immortal swag, as people say. And that'll be all. Hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.